Welcome, Mage. I'm Rhino.
And I'm Papa Mage, and today we're talking about.
Commander Brackets.
Okay, so you saw the thumbnail. We said it's wrong. We're going to tell you what's wrong with commander brackets. Well, at least from our point of view. But before we do that, what we need to do is we need to bring up the commander brackets and tell you quickly what they are. So number one is a deck that's kind of an exhibition deck. It's your funny hat deck. It's your silly card deck, yeah, or just the deck of the cards you had on hand. Um, Two is a core deck, which they say is like a current precon. So it's a reasonable deck. Got average cards in it. Nothing super big, super splashy. Number three is an upgraded deck. You've got some really powerful synergies in there, some good cards going, uh, and you might have some late game combinations and stuff like that. Number four is that super optimized deck that you've played like 20 times, and you know exactly how it works. You've got the best card in there, and you're just good to go on that. And bracket five is your competitive EDH deck, which is kind of a bracket unto itself or an area unto itself. So what we want to do is we want you to tell you our observations, what we think might be a little off with the commander brackets. And number one, Rhino's going to tell you it's
The bracket concept.
okay. So what's wrong with the bracket concept?
People may limit in that their uh, in this
Discussion.
discussion to just the bracket number.
So does that mean that they're lying when they say this is a two?
Not exactly.
Okay, it just means that the cards are just they fall into the two realm. So what else is wrong with it?
The thought that all decks in the same bracket are equal.
So that means every two is the same as every other two, and every three is the same as every other three. No.
No.
All right. So this is the whole problem with the bracket concept. So yeah, it what should it be?
Should be more of a spectrum.
Okay. So yeah, you need to have like 1, 2, 5, but have like a 2.3, 2.7, 3.1, that sort of thing.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else that we really need?
Needs a bracket 0 or a 6.
So what is that bracket?
And truly anything goes.
Okay, so that's like doing your uncards, or maybe doing a couple of band cards, just because they do something funky or different or something
Yeah.
like that. So really, it should be six brackets on the spectrum instead. Um, but the whole bracket concept of it compartmentalizes things way too much. Okay, number two. Uh, One of our observations, there's no discussion of synergy, mana base, or player capability. Okay, I know that's three things, but they kind of all work together. Okay, if you have a really good optimized mana base, you can generally do things 2 to 3 turns faster than somebody who's just running basic lands or tap lands or something like that. Somebody just threw something together. So 2 to 3 turns faster, that should bump up your ranking, so to speak. And a high synergy deck, let's say an elf ball deck, all elves.
Yeah.
I mean, we can create a deck that costs $20 that is made out of elves that can play well against a bracket four deck that doesn't use any of the game changer cards or anything like that. Uh, so there's no synergy sort of thing there. And then a highly capable player, somebody who's been playing. Magic for a really long time, like me. And like Rhino, too. I mean, Rhino's been playing Magic for more than half his life. So,
Yes.
um, so he is really good at playing Magic. I'm really good at playing Magic, and we go in and we get people that come into the start playing Commander, and they've played a few games, but I mean, it's like no contest based off of our experience level versus theirs.
Yeah.
So there's no discussion about that within there. So that is our second observation. Our third observation is
Never judge a book by its cover.
okay. What does that mean?
It means um don't um the bracket and the commander doesn't mean the deck will perform well.
Okay, so just because it is a such and such commander and it's in this bracket doesn't mean that it won't perform well. Why won't it perform well?
How tight is the deck construction?
Okay, so yeah, you can see this in the lower brackets where things aren't truly optimized. I mean, a two might really be a one if the person didn't really do a good job with the mana base or have enough mana rocks in it and stuff like that. Um, or they didn't have the better vampires or the better merfolk or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. So yeah, you're going to see, oh, it's that commander, and you're going to automatically want to say, okay, they used this sort of, the, a certain way of building the deck, and be, that may not hold true. All right, so the fourth one is the game changers. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the game changer list. This is the current one. There's 40 cards on there. Some interesting things. There's only 2 red cards. There's only 3 green cards. There's what two lands in there. Well, 3. Yeah, there's a few lands in there. Um, but the game changer list. We've got this list of game changers, and there's a couple things about this that I'm going to say. Number one is the list is too small and it's too big. That sounds counterproductive, and really it I mean it's going to make sense, all right? Because that list, out of that list, we've seen maybe a couple of these cards played in the last 3 years, maybe, and we've played a lot of Commander games, a lot.
Oh.
So I can come up with a list of 100 or so game warping cards. Now, I don't want to say game changer because the concept of a game changer means that your deck isn't doing what it was supposed to do in the first place.
Yeah.
It's, but a game warping uh, would make more sense because all of a sudden, instead of me seeing that you have 8 mana open, you do something and now you have 28 mana open, and then you can cast everything out of your hand, or you do something where you hit the strange combination where you've just drawn half of your deck by yourself. And that happened in the game not too long ago, accidentally with me. And it was pretty fun, but it was
And funny.
a very game warping combination. Um, the list that they have seems like, I mean, really, it seems like their game changers are mainly focused on combo decks. That, oh, I'm going to tutor to get these pieces to combo off. And not everybody plays combo decks.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people really do like swinging creatures and flyers and doing a Voltron sort of aspect. Um, And so the that's our big problems with the game changers. Now, there's one more thing with the game changers, and this is a big question: is will the game changer list limit Wizards of the Coast? They have a list that has 40 cards on it. Now, why would it limit them? Well, they're coming out with new commander precons each set. Will they not put a Jessica's Will in an upcoming set because it's on the game changer list? Because their decks are supposed to be a 2. And if they put in a game changer, then that forces it to a 3 or a 4 based off of their current bracketing system. So those are the 4 big issues that we see with it. The whole concept of the brackets, compartmentalizing things, no discussion about player capability or how good the deck is put together. The fact that the bracket and the commander doesn't necessarily mean anything really. It doesn't determine the outcome of the game, and the game changers. So we've got our suggestions. We have 3 suggestions, and suggestion number 1
One
is
is have a rule 0 always.
conversation. Yeah. So what are the things that you need to do in a rule 0 conversation? We've been doing this for years.
What does your deck do? How do you try to win? Do you feel that you've optimized your deck? What sort of game are you looking for?
Okay, so those are the 4 core things that you always ask. And people say, well, Magic players are kind of shy. They don't want to talk about things. If they don't want to talk about things, then why are they playing Commander in the first place? They should be playing Standard or something. Commander is very social. You get in to talk to people and do things and have interactions. So these 4 questions: what does your deck do? How do you try to win? Do you feel that you've optimized your deck? And what sort of game are you looking for? Very basic questions. And we've done this for years. No one has had a problem answering all 4 of these questions. And we have been able to balance out the game. We've picked the deck that we feel that would work well with their game and what they're looking for, and would challenge us as well. So we make really low powered decks when we go and play, because we want to make sure that everybody's having fun. Um, Now, if somebody asks you what about the brackets, all right, so treat the bracket as a spectrum. I would say, well, this is a 2 plus, or you can say it's a 2.7. Because I've got a little bit of this in here and that in there.
Yeah.
And then you answer these 4 questions before they even ask them. You say, okay, so it's a 2.7 because what I'm doing is I'm making a bunch of tokens, and I'm going to try to swarm out a bunch of tokens. I'm going to try to win with just basic damage. I do have a few things in there that could possibly get commander damage in. And the deck is, well, to tell you the truth, I haven't played the deck in like 2 years. Yeah, so I want to try it out again. And then the game I'm looking for is, yeah, I just want to kick back, sling some cards, and not have to worry about, something going on at home or something like that. So that's the sort of game I'm looking for. So the third thing, the most important thing,
Focus on fun for everyone.
you want everyone to have fun. We've run into people that think that all they need to do is for them to have fun. And that would be fun for everyone else. And that's not the case. You want to make sure that everybody has fun. And to, to, to give you one more thing, instead of just having 3, this bracket system is going to allow for unbannings. And those cards are going to go onto the game changer list. So cards that were recently banned that people ripped up and burnt and did stupid things with, they're going to get unbanned. I can almost 100% guarantee it. After this system is, you know, figured out, they've got a pretty good thing in place. Uh, yeah, I hope that they'll make it more of a spectrum sort of thing. They'll have these questions that you should ask as part of the bracket. Um, and, those cards are going to go onto the game changer list, and they're going to come back out. And hopefully, Wizards of the Coast will continue to print those higher powered cards for those people that want to play those. We generally don't play them because if we do, we're overpowered. uh, and So that's what we've got for the bracket system. We want you to put in the comments below what you think is right, what you think is wrong about the brackets. I will bring that back up again right here. Come on. There we go. Really, are there any game changer cards that should be taken down or put back on, or other cards that should be put back on? I mean, I could think of several right offhand that I think should be on this list. And I know a bunch of other people have thought the same thing. So,
Yeah.
thank you for watching.
I have more videos coming out soon. So until then, Rhino out.